Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of the Voice of Camp Nathanael right here on the campus of Camp Nathanael in beautiful and hot Emelina, Kentucky on this July. Are we in July now?
July.
I think we're in July. We're recording it in June.
Oh, but I thought I was helping you out.
You be quiet. We'll get to you in a second. I've already insulted our guest.
July 15th.
So here's okay.
Will be when this one actually premieres.
Okay, July 15th. See, that's what we get for not for not recording these live, and for good reason. We don't record these live, as if
what you already heard wasn't bad enough.
Hey, this is Stephen Bell with you as always. Well, not always, I guess. I've been absent a few past episodes, but still, I'm here.
Okay, most of the time.
And with me as always, is the Frabjus.
The what?
The Frabjus.
Frab.
I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. I'm using Frabjus.
This is Lee Sharp.
That is Lee Sharp.
And I don't know what Frabjus is, but apparently I'm it.
Frabjus means joyously absurd.
That's good. Why are there so many words that...
I think that's really
who's
good, bro.
Yeah, see?
I'll take it, but who's making this stuff up?
ChatGPT. I depend on them for all of my adjectives. Oh, they come in handy so well. Hey, listen, we have got we've got a great show today. The reason being is because it's right in the middle of camp season. In fact, we're recording this in the middle of high school camp, and we've got a guest in the studio with us, and this guy is no stranger to the Voice of Camp Nathanael podcast. He was actually, I think we've determined this is at least your fourth episode.
Nice.
All right.
I feel honored.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, pastor of Hickory Grove Baptist Church up in Independence, Kentucky, Camp Nathanael's very own Bill Clark. How you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome. Like you said, it's hot.
It is hot.
But it's been an awesome week of high school camp.
I say Camp Nathanael's own because, I mean, the guy, he came to know Christ here at Camp Nathanael. Mm-hmm. He's got a long history of camp. We've talked about that stuff on the podcast before, but we're here this week, man, because you are the keynote speaker during our high school camp here, and it's always an exciting privilege just to get to hang out with you, man, and just catch up.
Thanks, man.
And just to have you on the podcast, man. Yeah. So I expect great things, Bill. Don't let me down.
I will try not to. I will try. Don't get your hopes too high. No, actually, I was telling the campers, it was kind of cool. I don't think I've ever said this when I've gotten a speaker before, but I told them the first night, I'm like, this is my spiritual birthplace. And as I said it, I'm like, wait, is that right? Yeah, it is right. This is where everything changed in my life back in 1988. But as you were saying that about how many times I've been on the Voice of Camp Nathanael, I just had an epiphany. I had a debut of my own moment on the Voice of Camp Nathanael. I want to say it was 1989. I busted out a saxophone.
Nice.
And I played Be a Missionary.
Do you still play? Can you still play saxophone?
Right now, my saxophone has been put up for so long. I tried to unzip the gig bag, and it will not unzip.
It won't even come out of the case.
Yeah, that thing is ancient now. But
wow.
Those were good times though. And that song still is going strong because they were singing in the cafeteria earlier.
Yeah,
this
man.
week, so still going strong.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, cool deal. Well, Lee, tell us where we're going, man. We're gonna have a little conversation with Bill here this morning. This afternoon. Wherever you're listening to this, because that's the joy of podcasting, right?
It could be the middle of the night. I don't know what you're doing.
All right, I'm gonna be quiet, Lee. I'm gonna be quiet and let you.
Bill, you've been on here before.
Yeah.
But let's get some of the backstory again.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while, and depending on. It's just been a while.
Yeah, it has been.
So what's you grew up here around camp?
I did. I started coming here in fourth grade. I grew up in Harlan County, the city of Cumberland. I went to Benham Elementary School, ultimately Cumberland High School. If people are familiar a little bit with some of the staff that have been here over the years at Camp Nathanael, Larry Toner and Roy Hodson visited my school at Benham Elementary, and 7 times a year, I would stay after their presentation, say the verses, turn in the Bible lessons. And I remember very vividly the summer after my fourth grade year, first time I was going to be a camper. And we went to Kaywood High School's parking lot in Harlan County. And I had a little tiny leather suitcase. And I packed 4 bags for this week, actually. So things have changed in my life since then. But I remember being super nervous about doing it. I'd never spent the night away from home, apart from my family, ever in my life. And my mom, who's amazing and loving and sweet, whispered in my ear, honey, if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can come on home right now. And for a split second, I almost got back in the car. But the reason I didn't is because my sister had been here a couple of summers already, 3 or 4 actually, and I didn't want to not go because I wanted to keep up with her. If she did it, I can do it, kind of a thing. So I did it, and man, you couldn't have kept me away from camp after year 1. I came because it was fun, it was great, and I was telling the campers earlier this week that I look back on it, and it wasn't until my 7th summer, the summer after my sophomore year, that I placed my faith in Jesus. But I think about how I had the gospel basically memorized, and I recited it 3 years of verse repeating to Larry Toner and Roy Hodgson. I was a free camper. I knew the songs backwards and forwards. I loved being at camp, but man, I was as lost as can be. Didn't even know it. But something about that summer, it just, again, the Holy Spirit works and gives you that moment. That door opens up and you hear in that still small voice in your heart, buddy, I did this for you. If you just believe in me, it'll change your life. And as best I knew how at Hilltop Chapel, that last night of camp, I prayed and put my faith in Jesus, and it's changed everything. I felt a call into ministry near the end of my senior year of high school, a couple of years later, and ended up going to University of the Cumberlands.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, man. When I know there's a huge pipeline.
Big pipeline right now, man. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of Cumberland's students are here this summer working. Great school. And, man, I got prepared for ministry there very well. Thought I was going to go from there to VOCN Divinity School in Birmingham. But around the same time as that was presented before me, I connected with a pastor in northern Kentucky, Dry Ridge, Kentucky, Willie Elstock. We hit it off. They're looking for a youth and music minister and full-time position, and I prayed a lot about it. Felt the Lord was leading to me, instead of going on to VOCN Divinity School, to go and start doing full-time ministry in northern Kentucky. I've been there ever since. I was 3.5 years, a little less than that, at Dry Ridge. And then the Lord called me to Hickory Grove Baptist Church in 98. And my first 12 years, I was youth minister.
You've been at Hickory Grove for 27 years.
Yes, 27 years on May 4th.
That's some pretty good tenure, man.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'm ancient. I'm like that fungus on your shower wall.
There you go.
Just can't get rid of me, man. How much you try to, but it is a great church. I mean, Hickory Grove is so unique. It's actually was founded in 1800, so we're 225 years old. But its long history is evangelism and being the gospel out in the community, and that's served the church well. It's been willing to shift and make necessary changes to still be in the community, and I've gotten a front row seat of that. So
you
it's been
said
amazing.
225 years.
Yeah.
The year 1800,
The year
not the 1800s. The year 1800.
The year 1800. Now there's a little debate between historians. Some say it wasn't until 1801, but we rounded down.
Of course.
But anyway, man, I am so blessed to get to be here with camp this week. There was a little gap. I was a summer staffer. My summer after my senior year of high school.
Okay.
Did it again the summer after my freshman year of college. And then there was a little gap there, but somewhere along the way, I believe not long after I started at Hickory Grove, Jeff McIntyre invited me to speak at summer staff orientations, and I got to come down for different things like helping with couples retreat, family camp. But the last, I think, 4 summers, I've spoken at a camp as the chapel speaker, which is like almost kind of like a dream come true. Because I remember looking up to all those guys that spoke at camp when I was here as a camper. I'm like, man, those guys are it. And I feel very humbled to get to do it. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times when we have different guests that come on and different speakers, sometimes we're counting up the number of times that they have just physically been to Camp Nathanael.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oh, they've been here 2 or 3 times. I don't think we can count the number of times that you've...
I mean, he's served on committees and boards and all that stuff with camp too. So it's like the amount of times that he set foot on this campus is It's up there, man.
Yeah,
It's up there.
It's a
As much as
blessing.
you can be without being a full-time staff, I think.
Yeah, it's a blessing. This place is very special. I don't have to tell you guys that, but it's doing a great work, and I think that God uniquely designed camp to be a tool for evangelism and discipleship. But last statistic I saw, adults who went to a Bible camp, a Christian camp, as a student or as a kid, 70% of them made some decision at camp that still affects their adult life today. So 7 out of 10. I mean, that's a great success
good
rate.
figures, man.
Yeah. So if you're out there listening, you're thinking about sending your kid to camp, get them here.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool. So talking about camp and
Yeah.
being invited as the speaker, as being the it guy there, as you described him. What have you been talking about this week?
I love the theme, contentment.
So contentment's our theme.
Contentment's a theme, yes. I forget how it said. Which tent are you going to?
Yeah, which tent are you in?
Which tent are you in? Content or discontent? I love that. When I was given that a few months ago so I can begin praying that through, I started realizing that is, I mean, you start thinking when it comes to camp, I would say if I were on some committee planning for camp, I'd be thinking about what specific to only kids or to only students can we think of that's unique to them that we can really address. But immediately as I was starting to pray and prepare what to speak about, I'm like, man, I battled discontentment.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, you got to love how it works like that, right?
Exactly. It's just, it really hit me. This is the human problem. We all do that. So it's been really cool. I think it's been such a great theme. Stephen, you've been doing music here this week and the songs have addressed it. I've gotten to listen to the missionary this week. He is nailing it, and just everything is coming together to really point everyone who's here to this is a problem we all face, but Christ is really He is the only solution to our contentment problem.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds so cliche and we're supposed to say that, but drill down, like do what Solomon did, try it all.
Yeah.
And you'll land in the same conclusion that whether it's wealth, knowledge, fame, achievement, apart from Christ, those things will not fulfill. So it's been really cool to speak that into our students this week. It's been great.
I really appreciate how, we're coming into our fourth session tonight in the week that we're in right now. And so far, I really appreciate the questions that you've posed to them. That first night, what do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then following that up with who has what you want.
There you go.
That's
which we usually don't ask, but we ask it anyway.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, for sure we do, man. But taking that and then driving home the fact that what we ultimately want and desire, it just falls short of everything that Jesus is, and so for Jesus to be that which we want and desire above all else, that's where we find our ultimate contentment. So
so true.
Yeah, man, you've been killing it there. Appreciate that very much.
I appreciate it. I was trying to think of, I was almost going to do it where we're going to look at all the different barriers to contentment and do that each night. And it's kind of landed that way a little bit because when we ask, what do you want? We're trying to determine in a way, what is it that you long for that you think is going to give you contentment? Who has what you want? That goes into comparison,
right?
Coveting, like wanting what they want that you don't have. And comparison is such a big deal right now. It's not just for young people. It's not just for the people who, you think about what's happening with social media. And I use social media. I don't toss it completely aside. I love that we leverage it at our church for the good. But the truth is we are constantly flooded with images that we compare our lives with.
Yep.
And that can rob us of so much contentment. And I think it happens in ministry. I confessed to the students this week that I've done that as a minister. You see what this minister's doing or this church is doing, and you see their success. And sometimes on a certain day, rather than say, praise the Lord, you're saying, well, is that real? And why am I not experiencing that? And that starts going into comparison, and you start, not running your own race, but comparing your race to someone else's race. And next thing you know, you're not even looking at Jesus anymore.
Yep.
So it's been really helpful to me to prepare the messages. It's really taught me a lot to get ready. And as you guys know that when we serve and do what we do with the campers, us preparing and teaching, impacts us just as much as it impacts them.
Absolutely.
And I like that you bring that subtlety out there too, because that's more of a subtle comparison thing. Because sometimes you'll think of social media and the warning is look out for the bad things, or avoid the temptations, or different things along those lines. And then we completely gloss over that something good can lead you into the temptation of comparison.
Yeah.
And it's not even a bad thing. You're looking at something that's wonderful and good and should cause you to praise and honor God, that look at what he's doing in this person's life. And instead of doing that, sometimes we go, well, like you said, well, why don't I have that?
Long for what they got and don't, wish them well or praise God for what they're experiencing. It's so true.
And so it's not just avoid the bad things, but it's almost like when you see the good things, make sure that you got the right attitude going into that.
Yeah. I used to say, and I heard people say this, and it's true, you're seeing the best version of people typically in those social media posts.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I was hearing people say, and they're truly actually miserable, really. So don't put stock in them. I'm like, but actually sometimes what you may be saying is inaccurate, at least for that one moment.
Right,
but
of course.
What we should say instead is that may not be everything, but if that is real, good. But just move along. Don't park there. Don't park there and let that be such an impactful thing in your life. But I've got really good friends who've struggled with that. Even a simple thing as seeing someone they know doing something fun with other people other than them, and it really wrecks them to see that. And we're talking about people who love Jesus, but I don't know why I experienced that. And I have another good friend that literally went completely off social media. And that might be some choice some people do have to make to protect what it does to them, And he said, it's been a game changer for him. He found himself getting mad about what he saw online. He said, I don't need that anger in my life. I'm going to push that aside. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been really cool how all those things have happened. You were mentioning something good, seeing that too. One thing I talked about last night, I feel like I talk way too much about my running hobby. I try to trim down the stories. But last night I told them about how we talked about ultimate concern. And Paul Tillich, theologian, said, whatever your ultimate concern is, that's what will dictate your destiny. And all of us have one. What is yours, And another way he asks it is what captivates your imagination and your daydreaming. And
there you go. Because I don't know how you said, but you said something. It was right along those lines, and it was probably with the same point, and I couldn't remember what night it was because everything was kind of a blur to me.
Because of the heat.
That's what it is. But you were saying, you said you worded it somehow. Whatever your focus is on, that's your master.
That's right. Whatever you fix your eyes on.
Yeah, there you go.
Is what rules you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Which comes right out of Hebrews 12, 1-3. Fix your eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of your faith. And that is the beginning of us understanding the solution to the contentment problem is rather than looking to the left, to the right, what's going on around us, comparing or whatever, or actually just having the wrong thing be the goal. Like for me, I realized that after a while of running marathons, I'm like, why am I doing this? Which is a fair question for anybody who runs marathons probably. But God helped me to see that the why was I can be Jesus in that. And it gives me an opportunity to be his representation among the running community. And to me, that's been one of the most, my favorite thing about it. And we all have some version of that. Wherever we work, live, or play, that thing might be important to us. I mean, we may love our job, but our job's not our ultimate concern. We may love our children and love their sports that they play and love cheering for them, but that's not our ultimate concern. Our ultimate concern is to be with Jesus, become like him, and do as he does. And in doing that, in those places, then that's going to be held in the right way. It won't become an idol. And also, that's why God gave that to us in the first place, in my opinion, so that we can be his light in those spaces. Yeah. That's what God's teaching me. And honestly, being speaker at camp has really helped me to learn that better. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Forces you to sit and to contemplate and to go over, and you're like, wait, am I content?
Yeah.
Which if you're the speaker and you're speaking on contentment, it's kind of a, like you said earlier, you said it's humbling to be able to be invited, because there's a point where you have to sit down and you start reading through the scriptures and you're looking through content and discontent and you're thinking about it and you're praying about it and you go, There's like a moment of like, oh man, maybe I'm not as content as I think I am, or at least until you sit down and you realize I got to teach other people about this.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of forces the issue.
But I'm glad you brought that up, because I didn't notice it till I got here to camp. Looking at the theme verse, which I'm about to butcher, Philippians 4:11 through 13. Pretty confident that's it.
The context is there.
11 through. So I'll read that real quick.
Do it.
This is written from Paul and Timothy in Philippians. If you're unfamiliar, Paul spends a good chunk of his life in prison. So a perfect guy to write about being content in all things, because he went through a lot of awful things. He writes down, he says, "Not that I speak in regard to need, for I have learned in whatever state I am to be content. I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things, I have learned both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me."
I love that. We usually isolate verse 13 all the time, and I love hearing the context of it. But I told the campers that it really hit me, those 3 words that Paul said, "I have learned." And that's freeing for me, because I still think I battle this idea that if I am truly a child of God, this stuff will happen automatically sometimes. Like I should just be content. I should just have that joy automatically and start, the choices I make should be pretty close to the right ones every time. But to hear Paul say that this was a learning process for him, I'm like, thank you, Jesus. I needed to hear that.
Yeah, man. I mean, justification is all of God. Our sanctification, the Holy Spirit works that in us, but we cultivate within us those disciplines, the fruit of the Spirit that we've been given as believers, but we work that out,
Exactly.
we grow in those things.
Right.
So,
right.
Good stuff.
Yeah. It's been awesome.
So coming up in some of the nights that you've got coming.
Yes.
What's coming up next? We can give the preview here, because
this will even know it.
This will premiere after the fact.
This
so
won't even be a spoiler by then. Yeah. I'm actually excited because we're kind of shifting gears. I mean, tonight is almost like saying another barrier to contentment. I'm going to talk about compartmentalization being the problem. And this is, again, coming out of what God's been teaching me, but reminding myself that every moment of every day, Jesus is right here with me, and that the same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead dwells within me. But what I tend to do is I talk to him when we have a scheduled appointment and don't recognize he's right there with me. And I do believe one of the ways we can experience greater contentment is that in whatever it is we're doing, wherever we are, to continually become aware of his presence with us and his power in us. And so my big hope tonight is that the campers will leave chapel, go to their crosstalk times, hearing loudly and clearly, if they've placed their faith in Jesus, I am not alone and I am not powerless, because he's there and he's in them. And I think we don't always live as if he's always with us and that his power's there with us. So pumped about that one. I've been really thinking about Hilltop Chapel on Thursday. That's such a near and dear moment in my heart, because that's where I put my faith in Christ. And so I prayed a lot about it, but I'm looking forward to, as of right now, I'm going to be talking about, we actually had, strange that this happened, but within about a year, we had in our church 2 guys have very serious motorcycle accidents. And I was very impressed. I had a moment where I realized that there was another miracle that happened in their life besides the fact that they survived. Survival was a miracle for both those guys. And they're still in rehabilitation. Actually, one of them is doing great, doing stellar. He ended up getting baptized about a month or 2 after he came out of the hospital. But he was in a wheelchair the first time he came back to church. Then he walked in. And then the next time he came in, we were baptizing him. So God used that in a powerful way. The other guy, much severe situation. He's still in rehab, but it's amazing. Both of these guys were committed to attending church, even when probably they could have just stayed home and watched the live stream. But they were bound and determined to get there. And another guy had a fall on ice in this crazy winter we had, and actually had a spinal cord injury. His first day back at church was Easter Sunday for us, and it took him 45 minutes to get from his house, which is only, I want to say, a 7-minute drive from our church.
Oh, wow.
Took him 45 minutes to get from his house into his vehicle to the church, out of his vehicle into the church. But he was determined to do it. And I got to thinking, that's like Zacchaeus climbing the tree to see Jesus. That the miracle of his changed life, we think more about him coming down from the tree, going to the house with Jesus, him saying, I'm going to sell everything, give back fourfold, whoever I've stolen from. But the first miracle is he actually climbed that tree, because he could have easily said, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And the miracle I saw in those men saying, God didn't give me this miraculous healing where I'm walking like I used to, but I know he's with me, and I'm going to get to where his people are and continue to worship through it. That's what I hope I can leave with the campers Thursday night, is just keep climbing trees. What's the tree before you to climb right now, and what's holding you back? Push through it and get up it, So
Very cool. Very cool.
Pretty neat.
Well, guys, we're coming to the end of another episode here, and Bill, man, thanks for stopping by, dude. Thanks
my
for
pleasure. It's an honor to be with you guys. You guys do this so well. I wish I could podcast like you guys do.
Aw.
You're hilarious.
Oh, that was frabjous. That was joyously absurd, is what that was.
He makes it sound like we know what we're doing.
I know, right?
You need to test that with Tess to see if she would agree with that adjective.
Okay, yeah.
I think she'll agree.
Frabjous.
Does she listen to these things?
She does listen to some of them.
Fair question.
I'd be interested to see what the follow-up conversation would be on these.
She says she listens to them sometimes, and then she'll bring up things that I forgot that I said on the podcast, and I'm like, what did I say? What?
Yeah.
She goes, the one time you were talking with Steven and so-and-so, and I was like, oh, wait.
Well, good deal. Hey, Bill, thanks for serving, man. Thanks for being a part of the ministries here at Camp Nathanael and all that you do, not just in front of the kids, but a lot of stuff behind the scenes as well, man. We're greatly appreciative of you, and we're thankful for the ministry that God's given you, bro.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. Lee, what do we got? We got anything coming up, man, that we need to plug real quick?
I know that there's going to be a lot of prep once this one is premiered. Summer camp will have wrapped up.
Yeah.
So all of our listeners, if you've been to camp and you know about camp and all that sort of stuff, be praying for all of the campers and their families as they're going home, because there are some kids who will have, like Bill, given their life to Christ for the very first time.
That's right.
Some of them are going to be going into church for the very first time. So be in prayer for them, be in prayer for those churches as they welcome in new believers into their families. But then coming up here at camp, we've got some outdoor ed stuff that's going to be coming up here
Before
this
you
next
know
month.
it, man.
Because we go from one big ministry to another.
Yeah.
So we'll be having some outdoor ed set up happening soon. Camp will be transformed into basically a big field trip for a lot of local schools. So we're excited about that. We'll have more details as that gets closer.
Do you know, I know I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you know what the theme is this time around?
It's tied to the scientific method.
Oh, okay.
So there's going to be a lot of experimentation and testing of, I'd have to go back and look at all my notes.
Nice.
But yeah, there's going to be lots of fun stations set up around camp where kids are going to be performing experiments determine what different materials and items are. So
we'll get you plugged in on all of that, on how to get you, if you know people who are school teachers locally that want to bring classes, we'll give you all the hooked up information you need in the episodes to come. So stay tuned. Be sure to check us out again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, I think we're out.
That's all we got. We'll come back here in a couple weeks.
In August?
In August.
All right, guys. We'll see you then.